Hello and welcome to the forehead. How is everybody doing today? How are you doing, Krishna?
Doing well. Yeah, this time I'm with video because I'm joining from my laptop, and I hope sound is okay also.
It's perfect. What a special treat it is to see you in person, Alex.
Oh, really? So next time I will try also to get back to that nice mic.
No, this one actually works pretty good. I can hear you pretty well. I got a new pair of headphones just for this.
All right. So yeah, I have headphones, but so the story was yeah, there were a lot of complaints before I started to use this Shure mic, and so yeah, well, it's a little bit strange even to hear that sound is okay now.
Yeah, maybe Linux updated their drivers, or you have a new Pulse Audio library that you're using. Who knows?
Maybe it's just another laptop. I'm not sure even about that because that was like 1 year ago, 1.5 years. So maybe another laptop even.
All right, Christy,
right.
as a sub, I've got 30 minutes to crank this out. So let's start off with what's new for you this week.
A lot of things. There was intense devs chat yesterday. And more contributors we have now, with some old repositories such as Sigma State Interpreter. Now there is even need to organize contributions there. And some new repos in the ecosystem such as Chaincash getting contributors, even not from Ergo channels, so people somehow find it. And by the way, Chaincash white paper has been massively updated, so I would be happy to get feedback, especially send our email. I've added email to the white paper, so yeah, in case of some suggestions, corrections, and so on. So yeah, please reach me. Now also polishing, finalizing the sidechains white paper from the Ergo Hack 7. All right, so pushing the Ergo Hack team, to announce results. As far as I know, there are some issues with some judges still not sent reviews. So sorry for delays here, and I'm pushing now to sort it out quickly, and then we will have the mini summit again. Right, so I personally will do video about the sidechains Ergo Hack project we've made along with Soysor, and then maybe also some more general video I think to do maybe about the properties of ledger tech we have here in Ergo, and possibilities in monetary designs which can be built on top of the ledger. All right, so aside of that, a lot of updates. From what I know, there is a good updates in SigmaFi for chaining transactions in the mempool, right, which provides seamless experience dependless on block time. What else? There is a new paper on extended UTXO systems in production by Spectrum guys, so I will provide some feedback on the forum. There is a forum thread on that. Then what else? For the Oracle pool, we are now experimenting with updating. So there was a successful testnet update. So we are now in the middle of mainnet experimental update. So there will be results published, and I'm thinking to do actually a forum thread on deployment in Oracle pool, then Dexy contracts, then Gluon. Because it's already quite complicated story, right? With a lot of tokens and contracts being deployed and to be deployed. So probably there is need for some clarity here. So I will do a forum post. A lot of things going on. Other things, probably I've forgotten about a lot of stuff, so you can, provide additional information and notes.
Actually, what have you guys thought about how you're going to display? Chain cache can get pretty complicated with these notes, right? With the amount of back collateral as it hops and hops and hops. Have you thought about how you're going to easily display that to the user to be able to see that and make, educated decisions about what that node is backed with?
All right. So you see, chain cache is a peer-to-peer network, right? So you run your own software, chain cache server, and it's actually your own bank, right? And now it's kind of real bank. So it's not just validating the common ledger, but also you can specify your own rules, which nodes to accept or not, right? And we need to think how to share this information to avoid interaction, right? So maybe when, for example, you are running a store, online store, you can just publish your address, public key along with acceptance predicate, right? So then it will be clear which nodes you are accepting. And then, there are a lot of possible options here, right? A lot of algorithms actually, from simplest ones, which may consider just history of a single node, right? To complicated, which also account for other nodes issued by backers of a node you're holding, right? A lot of possible algorithms from simplest ones to very heavy, maybe even one. So then there will be some settings, maybe with some defaults, right? And in regards with acceptance, it also I believe should be configurable, maybe with some simplified options, right? Like you are very conservative, right? You are running some conservative profiles, so you're accepting only over collateralized nodes. Also, maybe considering nodes issued by backers of a node, right? To avoid situation when reserves could be depleted by redemption of other nodes. Or maybe you're a risky guy, right? So then you can accept under collateralized nodes, or maybe just considering history of a single node, right? Without considering possible redemption of other nodes. There are other options. Like 2 years ago, there were a lot of talks about launching some LED systems, local exchange trading systems, right? Which are basically, communities now, digital communities, where, for example, we can issue money in some trusted circle, right? So, for example, Sigmanauts can run on monetary system, right? With credits being accepted by all the Sigmanauts. So then you can issue your nodes, your IOUs, right? And they will be accepted by the whole Sigmanauts community. So it's not just IOU, but IOC, right? I own community, kind of depth nodes.
That's a really cool concept. That's really neat.
Yeah, and then what can we do? Actually, we can do LEDs on top of chain cache, as explained in the white paper, because in addition to collateralization level, you can also specify white lists or black lists also, right? So, for example, you can ignore which were issued, or even pass it through some actors you trust at all. Maybe you're toxic even for some reason. I mean, it's your individual choice after all, whom consider bad and whom not. And then you can also have whitelist, right? So for example, whitelist all the Sigmanauts, and then you it's like let's exactly. So, for example, you can whitelist Sigmanauts. So you can then accept all the nodes issued by Sigmanauts, so even more, all the nodes passed right through Sigmanauts. Coming from Sigmanauts, so having Sigmanaut as a last. And then it's the same, right? So it's kind of IOC kind of node, but also may have, additional, right, with collateral of other parties. But, for Sigmanauts, you can, skip this collateralization required, right, at all. So then, you can have kind of community kind of money nodes, right? But those nodes can then easily go to external circles, right? If they have enough collateralization to be trusted outside. So then, it's could be used for community use cases like LEDs, right? But also leak outside, right, when needed in exchange. So it's then quite flexible, right? Kind of system which can contain a lot of internal contours, right? Circles, like different community based LED systems and so on, right?
Yeah, no, I think that's really interesting that you can essentially be the bank of Sigmanauts there and project a trust beyond that. So if the Sigmanauts are accepting these notes and working with these notes and are whitelisted certain members, then those notes potentially might be trusted a little more outside of the Sigmanauts group too, which is that's pretty neat.
Yeah, so then maybe Ergo Foundation, for example, can accept these nodes, right? And some community members maybe can accept these nodes and without even collateral requirements met, right? Needed for other nodes. This interesting, and it's individual choice after all. So which nodes you accept, which you're rejecting, and in this regard, it's kind of through a digital free bank system, right? For banking banks, like US banks, for example, back in 19th century. So for Federal Reserve was a and
right,
so there are free banking systems existing in other parts of the world, such as Hong Kong, for example. Here, it could be kind of global, right? Digital free banking system. basically.
Do you feel that?
Yeah.
Do you feel that this tooling for chain cash at least will ever get down to the level where the average Joe could probably run it, or the average person could probably run it and understand it? Or are we still talking about you need some sort of level of expertise in how the notes work, how the banking system works, and how that to be able to function as your own bank there?
Yeah, so I think after all, right, so after some experience with it, it would be possible to simplify. So just to provide certain profiles, right? So then some average person can just run some profile, like maybe conservative or risky, right? In regards to collateralization, also white lists, its friends. So there could be also widely accepted whitelists soon, right? So contain example known charity organizations, Red Cross, for example, right? And so such lists could be well understood, right? Around different jurisdictions and audience profiles.
All right.
So
we got a couple questions in here. You want to hit them?
Yeah. So just one note. So it's possible, but in the beginning probably so someone with expertise.
Yeah.
Basically, money hackers need to play with it and then figure out how to simplify it. Which happened with Bitcoin, right? Cryptocurrencies, and happening with Ergo, actually, and the same will happen here in Chain Cash, I believe. All right, so let's jump on the questions.
All right, let's jump it. We've got one from Wendy Moon, directly from me, I guess. Any news on your integration of Ergo in your work systems? So we, as some of you know, we created a position, kind of a programming operations manager that is in charge of authoring and maintaining apps and systems at my place of work. And the first round of interviews should be going out momentarily for the screening. So we've got a nice handful of submissions, and we'll go from there. So I'm thinking hopefully we can wrap this up in a couple weeks, and then we can start really digging into how this can work. But for those of you that missed it, the idea was that we have some systems that would benefit greatly from integrating Ergo, the blockchain, into it and putting it on kind of a public ledger and giving alternative methods of payment and interaction with these apps via the blockchain, which those offer. And then the second side to that as well is not just integrating the blockchain into some existing apps, but also creating some sort of community-based DAO using Padia with our apps so that we can more involve the student body in decisions and decision-making, essentially. Right now you look at a university and a college, and students might be, polled for their ideas about how something should be done or that kind of thing. And, some of those things are just surface level things just to appease the students, to make them seem like they have a say in what's going on. But I think there are many opportunities where students know best. They're the ones paying the tuition. They're the ones that are utilizing the systems that they're working on. So that's where a DAO comes into play here, where the students can participate freely and kind of steer where certain things go, at least in my department in the college. So that'll be really exciting to get those integrated. But in a couple of weeks, we should hear that we hired somebody, and we can get them right started on getting to see what we can do. So that's really fun. Looking forward to that.
All right, and
all right, we've got.
By the way, so about dates and Padia. So yesterday it was a tweet did confirm that public testing is starting from November 20th, and now it's 6th, right? So 20th is Monday. So then would be the Padia in the Ergo ecosystem, probably, right?
Padia. Yeah, you broke up a little bit, Christy. Do you have any bots running on your system right now you can tone down? Something's eating.
Yeah, so
something might be eating your CPU a little bit.
I see. So yeah, so yesterday it was a tweet confirming that the public testing will be started on 20th.
Oh, okay, awesome. That'll be awesome. Yeah, for those of you who haven't tried it yet in private testing, it's very cool. Everything it says it's going to be. So it's super exciting to have that out there. And you can point to all these places that consider themselves DAOs and say, yeah, if you consider yourself a DAO, maybe you should try Padia, or, a real kind of permissionless DAO there. So we'll see. Enough of these, as Armenia would say, these Discord DAOs where you click upvote, downvote to have somebody else trigger something. Padia takes that out of the equation where the thing that you're supposed to trigger is done, after the vote without human interaction. Well, with batcher interaction, but still without somebody as a gatekeeper saying, okay, I see the vote, I'm going to do this. Whereas the immutable code says that via Padia. So that has to be done as far as that goes based on the vote. So that's really, really very cool and exciting to get that up and running.
Yeah, so public testing is starting next Monday. So then, yeah, the next week would be the Padia week, right, in the community. Yep. So people will play with it and feedback. So let's see. It'll be interesting to see.
Yeah, and SIGs are going to jump on too, so that'll be fun. We'll set an example there and be test dummies for you. So looking forward to that. All right, we've got two quick questions from JC. It says, Kushti, are there any size limits on Subblocks?
Size, well, there is block size limit, right? Still, so subblock is still kind of, but yeah, so with better propagation, miners can raise the limits, right? So, well, with blocks, so propagation would become much better. Right, and so effective TPS then well could be raised, I guess, well, like 5 to 10x easily, at least.
So what happens, Kushti, if there's too many? Is a main block going to reject some subblocks if there are too many? If the size is too large, are they just going to wait for the next block? These subblocks, how's that going to work? If there are too many, or they're too big, or they're too full.
Yeah, so subblock is actually a block candidate, right? So well, it's yeah, it's not different, but it's not so actually. So its size is not quite validated. So then yeah, it's get for bigger size actually. What's the point for miners to well put themselves in a risk by working on a block, right? So if, for example, instead of a block, miner is producing a normal block, right? And if it's of too big size, it's got rejected by the network. But when it's a block, well, it's not validated actually. So what's it is that it has enough work done, right? So proof of work puzzle is checked, and then well, yeah, it's checked. Well, new transactions confirmed there, but then yeah, there's no limit which is checked on this delta, right? So for new transactions appeared in, well, particular subblock. So still there's no And probably there is no need because, well, as I explained, if as a miner you are going to put too much transactions there, so you are just yourself at risk of losing block rewards.
Okay. All right. And then a follow-up question for that from JC. Does TPS even increase with subblocks? By what factor approximately?
Yeah, a lot. Then, to actually check for concrete systems. So there are some papers which are claiming that similar deals may provide up to 100x boost, but I'm not sure about such numbers. Maybe they got for some artificial networks. As actually, a lot of papers are doing, right? So, instead of testing on some real flat peer-to-peer networks, they're running some experimental test bed in a few data centers, right? And then, you can get 100 speed up. It's not that hard, right? Not so real network, real peer-to-peer network, but just few data centers just with pretty dense links, and maybe if not so many machines, they're all interconnected after all. Yes, 10x could be achieved. Then about 100x, I'm not sure, but we need to check the network. So what's doable is miners can just vote on raising TPS limits, right? Slowly but surely, and we will find the network will find its limits then naturally somewhere.
Do you foresee miners dual mining subblocks and the normal network, or do you see these as separate kind of things that people will mine?
Well, so it's just a byproduct of normal mining process, right? So, subblocks actually is what's already called shares, right, in mining process. So when miners are solving easier tasks than normal block requires, it's called share, right? And
yep.
in most of actually all the mining pool rewards, so shares are used already, right? And so then what's needed for subblocks pool wise is to filter those shares, right? Select only one with sufficient work done, and submit them into the peer-to-peer, right? And then still there are some tricky things which are still not which are not finalized, not considered, such as rewarding for subblocks, right? So there could be some views of rewards. There could be even, for example, side chains, right? So relying on subblocks and rewarding with sidechain tokens, for example, right? So maybe some custom tokens on Ergo network. So I even made some prototypes for such rewarding schemes, so we need to publish them to start discussions. But it's just like FIMO schemes, so-called fair initial mining offering, right? But now you are rewarding for not just blocks, but also subblocks, right? And I made some prototyping Ergo script, and it seems it could be possible, but yeah, some details to be considered still. And then by the way, how's SIG pool is doing?
Sigmining pool, yeah. So Cheese just got back to me, gave me an update last week. He says that he's got pretty much the code done for mining core integration, and he is running it on testnet to test out some bugs. He's approaching it as he's coded it as a whitelist. So essentially, you can configure a configuration file and say, okay, hey, these tokens that are collected via storage rent will automatically be distributed to the miners. So we're talking like, known tokens that are of worth value, like SPF, like Ergo Pad, like those kind of tokens. And then he said anything else that are singletons or stuff that's not on the whitelist will be dumped into a pool wallet. So it gives the pool operator that kind of choice of, hey, I want to auto distribute these rewards based on mining effort if they're on the whitelist. Otherwise, bring them into my pool wallet, and then we'll decide what to do from there. So that gives the opportunity for the pool operator to perhaps put things up for auction if they are of singleton value, and then distribute that to the pool runner, the people running in the mining pool, or do whatever is agreed on, that kind of thing. So with the Sigmanauts, that'll be a group decision, of course, and we'll figure that out. But we're getting pretty close to integrating that, so that's really exciting. We're still chunking away, I think, a variable hash rate from 1 gigahash to 5 gigahash, depending on who's joining or not at the time. But so far, the backend system's been holding up the entire time, so we're pretty confident about that, and we'll integrate Cheese's code once he's got it going.
All right. So, I had conversations with some token issuers, let's say. So they would be happy actually to continue experiments with FIMO. So maybe SIG pools can support such experiments in distributing tokens to SIG pool miners.
Yeah, that's stage 2. That's what, as soon as Cheese is done working on this, we're hopefully going to talk to him about bringing that kind of separate reward system up, where there are, like the old Git block days where there were pooled subpools of mining. Super cool with rewards for distribution.
Yeah, and then with Subblocks, we can also do experiments with SIG pool first. Actually, any other pool willing to do such experiments. But
we could
pools.
Also, depending on how much storage rent is collected, we could also divert just storage rent to Subblocks on an experimental subblock pool in the SIGs. That'd be interesting, depending on how much is going. That would fund it for now, at least, depending on how much it is.
Yeah, actually, a lot of interesting things could be here, right? So, for example, first storage rented NFT, right? So you can make an auction, right? And it could actually a higher price as a collectible, which was for the first time storage rent charged, right? So yeah, quite interesting stuff. So with Subblocks also a lot of interesting experiments, right?
Yeah, I mean, tokens could even launch with subblock support. So you could have, let's say you have Rosen launch, Rosen 2.0 or whatever it is, and they want to give some tokens. You could do a mining-only subblock token launch, where you distribute the token via rewards for subblocks based on mining effort. So it's crazy how many options there are for this kind of stuff. It's really exciting.
Right. Yeah. And then, there is no need to share the core protocol and the native token. because why to touch it at all? It's better to avoid experiments with things which are already established and running in a quite solid way.
All right, let's
all right.
see. We got another question here.
Do we have time?
Yeah, we can. That's okay. I'll squeeze it in here. Here we go. From FC, two questions. One question we can probably answer. The second part we can't answer. What's a realistic expectation of bridging via Rosen for ADA Erg? Seems like some may flow USD ADA Erg as access for USD purchases easier for ADA. So I guess the question is, what do you see as the most used pathway through Rosen Bridge, either to Erg or from Ergo?
Oh, hard to predict things, actually. I don't even know, to be honest, unfortunately, what's going on the Cardano ecosystem. So does it have USDT on Cardano? Probably not yet, right?
On Cardano? I don't think so. No, not that I know of. But I think they mean pairs. Like it's easier to go from a USD pair to ADA on an exchange and then pop that over the bridge to Erg.
Yeah, so then there is a hope for Mehen, right? USD, and what else will be there? USDA, right? Probably with EVM bridge to be launched after other. So it will be the second bridge, so before Bitcoin even. Right, and with EVM, I guess, USDT would be the king, right? But for ADA, it's hard to predict, actually. What would be the main driver there? What are you? Maybe you know Cardano ecosystem for better than me.
I think initially, at least initial people coming over the bridge are going to, it's tough to immediately swap your, let's say you're on the Cardano side. It's tough for them to swap their ADA to Erg and come experiment with SigmaFi, with duck pools, with all that kind of stuff that's out here with Padia coming up. So I imagine this is going to kind of lower that threshold, lower that barrier of risk and fear. For people coming over, they can simply pop into the ecosystem via Rosen with Rosen ADA coming out on the Ergo side and play around with our tooling and our ecosystem. So I think we're going to see that initially with inquisitive people coming over and poking at our stuff that they may not have over on their chains. So that'll be a driver there, and hopefully when they come over, they stay and they maybe swap their our ADA for some real ergs, so they can poke around even further with that kind of thing. So that's my initial thought with that stuff. But it would be interesting to see some big money come over the bridge and dump some stuff on SigmaFi loans or other things there. That'd be interesting to see for sure. Crank up the TVL there.
So you are thinking about some native ADA, right, to be the king. Well, maybe for the initial period. But with EVM bridge, when you can get USDT on top of Ergo, so it's could be used as a kind of realized on-ramp, right? So, many cities around the world where you can visit some exchange office, let's say. So bring your cash there, get USDT, right, and then get without any centralized exchange, right, because of the breach.
Yep, 100%. I think
Then,
people should not forget that Rosen also serves as that access, as that you just said. A lot of people see Rosen as, oh, it's just a swap between these change, but it's in indirect competition with central exchanges. That's for sure. So we shouldn't forget that.
right. Yeah. So. And USDT is also the most popular option, right? So especially in Asia, for example, in East, right? So it's widely used for payments and to get from cash to USDT, for example, to then do on ramp into the right transfer USD internationally.
I treat USDT like that long walk from the car in the dark alley on the way back from work, where you just look at your target and you go there as fast as you can and you get in your car. Same with USDT, I feel, whenever I use it. I get in, I do what I need to do, I get out. I don't want to hold it for any longer than I have to, and I feel dirty doing it. So I mean, that's just my personal opinion when I work with USDT, but yeah.
Yeah, but it's quite popular, right? So
it is for sure.
You can buy a lot of services and so on. So even when back when we organized Ergo Asian Roadshow back in 2019, right? So usually everyone asked to pay in USDT in Vietnam, South Korea, Japan, and so on. It's USDT everywhere, so not Bitcoin or whatever, right?
Soon Dexy Gold.
Yeah, soon.
Awesome. Well, I got to wrap it up, Alex. I got to take my son to his class.
All right. So it was nice, Emily.
Very fun,
but nice. So yes, see you, folks, in 1 week. Keep in touch.
All right. See you guys next week. Ciao. Stay up tuned for the dev update coming up on Sunday, and all the other stuff in the ecosystem. Thanks. It was good to see your face today, Kushti. Thanks for doing video.
Yeah. Thank you. Bye.
Ciao.